Coming to you from a parking lot, it's Wellness Nerd Out time! How you guys doing today? Happy Wellness Nerd Out time. Nobody's around. Hope you guys are having a great day today. So, what I want to talk about is supplements and foods that are good for reducing aging, harmful effects of aging. So what is aging? A progressive loss of physiological integrity leading to impaired function and increased vulnerability of death. Warm definition. That's the definition of aging according to examine.com and accumulation of modern definitions. So what do we have? Well, here's 5 things you can eat or take that will be good for reducing, again, the harmful effects that come with aging, or at least delay the aging process. Vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 taken in 100 to 400 micrograms in a day. So we know B12 as something that helps us to create DNA, something that helps us to form red blood cells, and most importantly, something that helps us to nourish the brain and nervous system. B12 is a great nerve vitamin. Now you always hear B6, you hear B1, thiamine too. Okay. We know Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, thiamine deficiency from alcoholics, any of these progressive neurological deficits, right? Things like that. So B12, number 1, 100 to 400 micrograms in a day. Next up, we have Alcar. So that's acetyl L-carnitine. So what is L-carnitine? Or maybe you've heard of acetyl L-carnitine HCl, Alcar HCl. That's acetyl L-carnitine bound to hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride, you could say, if it's not an aqueous solution. So what is carnitine itself? So you know there's an acetyl group on it, in acetyl L-carnitine, so we'll talk about the difference there as opposed to other forms of carnitine. But carnitine shuttles long-chain fatty acids from the cytosol of the cell, that's outside the energy powerhouse, the mitochondria, right, where we go through glycolysis and the Krebs cycle, and we get some beta oxidation going on in there, things like that, shuttles long-chain fatty acids through the mitochondrial membrane so that they can be used and broken down for energy to create ketone bodies, right? Beta hydroxybutyrate, for example, whatever we talk about. Okay, so that's what carnitine does. Now, how much do we want in a day, and why Alcar? Well, 0.5 grams to 1 gram of Alcar taken in 2 doses of 250 to 500 milligrams in a day has shown benefit for to have anti-aging benefits, right? So why Alcar? Acetyl L-carnitine is the form of carnitine that can cross the blood-brain barrier. And so if it can't cross the blood-brain barrier, it can't have any neurological effects, right? Any neuroprotective effects or any general benefits for your brain, right? And so that's why Alcar, that's one major reason. It's also good for heart health. It's also used as a nootropic to enhance cognitive function, things like that. So Alcar, second on our list, 0.5 to 1 gram in a day. Next up, you know we had to mention what is the only food on our list, blueberries. Blueberries. How many blueberries do I need to eat in a day to get these benefits, Shane? Great question. You can take freeze-dried blueberry powder. You can take standardized blueberry supplements for the bioactive phytochemicals in them, right? Maybe talk about pterostilbene or anthocyanins. But let's say I want to eat blueberries and get this effect. Well, 60 to 100 grams in a day is what you're looking for. What the hell is that? Show me something, tell me something, tangible that I, can relate to what I buy in the store. 6-ounce package. You get that 6-ounce package, it's about 170 grams. So we said 60 to 120. So anywhere from half to a full standard pack of blueberries, little square thing you get, that should do it for your daily dose. So why else are blueberries good for us? Well, blueberries have that Potent antioxidant pterostilbene, not to mention anthocyanins and polyphenols, all things that function as antioxidants, reduce oxidative stress in the body, and help to combat free radicals. That's one major benefit of antioxidants in general, is they're anti-aging, right? That's a lot of what they talk about, aside from being good for heart health and physiological functioning in general, and brain health and things like that. But that's how many blueberries we want to get in a day. Also, they're low on the glycemic index as far as fruits go. Blueberries are very low. It's like 6 grams of sugar in a whole pack. Not to mention the type of fiber you're getting, and that's soluble fiber. That means when we have soluble fiber, as opposed to insoluble fiber, which is more like sawdust flying through your GI tract, speeding digestion, clearing everything out, insoluble fiber is absorbed more slowly. Our carbohydrates are absorbed in a more reasonable fashion, more manageable fashion is a better word, than other forms of sugars, carbohydrates. So it slows that absorption. That soluble fiber is also feeding your gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria are intimately involved with your health in general. Not only the types of vitamins and things that you can absorb to a greater degree because you bolsters your gut microbiome, but also because they produce things that otherwise we wouldn't be producing, like short-chain fatty acids, acetic acid, butyric acid, or butyrate, or acetate. Well, anything acid is just A. So, take butyrate, for example, that affects serotonin levels in the brain. And over 90% serotonin is produced in our gut. Right, as we've said here, when wellness a few times. So, serotonin is our happy hormone / neurotransmitter. Right? So, very much so affecting mood. If we're in a good mood more often, well, it seems like we might live a little longer. That's just one reason, aside from the other antioxidant benefits and everything we get from blueberries. So there are only food on this list, so please make sure you eat blueberries as much as you can. So while on the topic of mood, let's move to the next ingredient. In your 5-ingredient anti-aging stack, it's going to be vitamin D3. Okay, so vitamin D. So we can get it from sunlight. But many of us are deficient in vitamin D in today's world. We sit inside, we work for 8 hours, sitting behind a desk or even moving around, doing what I'm doing. I'm under a roof. Most all of us are. So we don't get adequate amounts of vitamin D from sunlight for the most part. Now that daily intake ranges anywhere from 10 or 15 micrograms to around 25, based on different demographics and risk factors for deficiency. But they say even if you have low levels, the Examine does, 25 to 50 micrograms in a day of vitamin D should suffice to raise the levels to adequate amounts to provide these anti-aging benefits. 25 to 50 micrograms. So at some point then you can, once you have adequate levels, a good maintenance dose would be 25 micrograms a day to maintain the ongoing benefits, anti-aging benefits of vitamin D. So vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. That's the first one we've mentioned here like that, as opposed to Alcar and B12. Water soluble. So you're going to want to have a meal with the vitamin D, because you will absorb it to a greater degree. Now, who are people that are at risk for vitamin D deficiency in the first place? Well, a few demographics we've mentioned previously here at When Wellness would be, say, the elderly or African Americans. People with darker skin generally require more sunlight to produce the same amount of vitamin D. If you have darker skin especially, you should be taking it. If you're elderly, you should be taking it. And if you work inside all day, probably the single most important vitamin for you to take in general, in my opinion. Not that I would put any one as just one. You should have a well-rounded diet and get all your vitamins and minerals. But it's a big one. It's a really big one. So it's not only involved in mood or anti-aging vitamin D, but it's essential for bone health and immunity. Probably the two benefits it's most heralded for. Also, testosterone production. Remember, vitamin D is a steroid hormone. We can't forget about skin health, right? Skin vibrancy and health. Vitamin D is very, very important. So that's 4 on our list. So we got B1, Alcar, we have blueberries, and we have vitamin D3. Last but definitely not least, protein. Adequate protein intake. How much protein is that? 0.45 to 1 gram per pound of body weight should suffice to get these anti-aging benefits. Okay. So it's different than somebody who's, say, looking to build muscle, right? If you're looking to build muscle, you can get up from that 1 gram per pound to 1.5 grams per pound, even all the way up to. This benefit's been shown in human trials for the purpose of muscle growth and increasing strength. Having 1.5 grams per pound and absorbing it in a day. Because remember, you eat a lot of protein at once. Studies show eating even up to 80 grams at a time, quickly, you will absorb most all that, because what your body does is it stimulates the release of CCK, cholecystokinin. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I can't see anything from here. Part of my car is black. It's resting against my roof, my rack on the roof, so I can't even see the bottom of the screen, but I'll hit you guys at a vivid. Thanks for hopping on. I hope you get something out of this. What was I talking about? Protein. So 1 gram, yeah. So some research has shown, up to 80 grams in a meal, it stimulates the release of cholecystokinin, or CCK, from the pancreas. This hormone tells your stomach, okay, hold on, we are going to store that food until we're ready to release the contents, go through gastric emptying, we can say, and to then absorb the nutrition through the intestines, right? So that is what we got for you guys. I hope it was helpful. If you'll remember nothing else, remember to take some vitamin B12, preferably 100 to 400 micrograms in a day. Remember to take Alcar, acetyl L-carnitine, likely found in the form of Alcar HCl, at 0.5 grams to 1 gram per day. Don't forget to eat your pack of blueberries every day, or at least half. Take a vitamin D supplement that contains 25 to 50 micrograms, and have your protein, 0.45 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Easy way to remember, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Let's see what we got and say what's up to the people and get the hell out of here. We're in the middle of nowhere. Keely, how you doing? DGNYC76, what's happening? Maggie Beck's been on here every day. I love it. Ross Nance, how you doing? DGNYC, I know, I saw in the beginning I closed it, thank you. Crystal, what's going on? No worries. 2 Freebird Phoenix Art. How you guys doing? Gym Fitness Lovers, what's up? Jeff Stinnett. Rolls off the tongue. Mano Salvo, 148, what's happening? Journey to Better OB. Hi, what's going on? Not random. Yam Chris Lainez. Yam Chris Lainez. How are you? Jamie Lee, thank you guys so much for hopping in. I thought you got something. I hope you got something good out of this. Muscle Milk Mel, how you doing? Robin Quinn, C329. Marcus Rose Fashion 116. You're great. IWBH1. It's behind. Maxie, what's up, man? It's behind. Why are we outside? Because we have to get this done every day, and I was on the way home, and I had no other place to do it. Been occupied the whole day, but we always get When Wellness done by the bell. Anything for fatty liver. Let me do Itch Behind. Can I do a video for fatty liver? I'll put it on my list. Try to do it this week. How does that sound? Because that should get a whole video. We'll get into alcohol, and we'll get into effects of carbs and fats and everything that forces the liver to produce different things. There's a lot to be said for that. So let's Can you write a list under this video? Sure, I'll put a list with the description, Jamie. Derek Winkle, OBP, Mon Histoire de Vie, how you doing? And Hannah Soul, 39. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Most importantly, seriously, go support yourself. Go support yourself. Get something from these videos. Do some great things for yourself. You deserve it. You only live once. You have one body. Think of the care you put into your car. You always make sure it has gas. You make sure you keep up with the oil changes. I hope, or your engine might seize. It's a fucking machine. Your body is the only... If you don't have your body, you have nothing. Your mental health, your physical health. It'd be crazy not to take care of it. Thank you so much, Valentiz. I appreciate that. What is my proudest upper body muscle, Hannah? I don't really know. I just work out to be strong, and I guess the rest comes with it. Performance and, looks. If I had to pick one, probably my core, because everything comes from the core. So we'll say that. If I have to say an extremity, triceps. That's a funny question. But go do something great for yourself. You guys, have a great rest of your night. We're going to put a list under this video. Thank you, Valentiz. I appreciate that. And we'll see you tomorrow. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have a great night.